Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, I've been a little under the weather, and one of the reasons I haven't made a video is because my voice was off, and I hate making videos when my voice is kind of weird sounding. So it's still not back to normal, but it's good enough, so let's get back into the videos. Now, I stumbled across a really interesting website via the Rolex forum. The website is, I think it's gmtmaster1675.com. Anyway, I'll put a link in the description. And it's a really interesting website. It's dedicated to the GMT Master 1675, which is the predecessor to the 1642. That was the original GMT with a Bakelite bezel, no crown guards. And when you go to that site, again, link in the description, you can see an interesting recall from Rolex for those very, very original first incarnation Bakelite bezel GMT Masters, the 6542. And apparently, if you look closely at this recall, 605 of them were imported into the States, and a few of them needed a replacement bezel because, well, nobody really knows for sure, but it seems to be there were concerns over the radioactivity level of these bezels. Anyway, that's kind of interesting. A screw up on Rolex's part. You know, it's funny because if I had had one of those watches, I would be really inclined to send it back. But it's funny how, and I would have. But if you had just ignored Rolex and popped it in a box, it could be worth an absolute fortune today. And in fact, if you sent it back and got the replacement of whatever they sent you, it's still worth a fortune. But in that recall, there were two interesting facts regarding Rolex's first that I thought was really interesting. The first was a statement that in 1926, Rolex invented the first waterproof case, the Oyster case. And then 5 years later, in 1931, they developed the first perpetual movement. And let's talk about those two innovations. They really are amazing because what it does is it allows you to put on your watch and essentially never take it off, which is amazing. I mean, before 1926, you'd have to take your watch off before you bathed, okay, before you got it wet. And before 1931, you'd have to take your watch off to wind it. It's amazing that thanks to Rolex in 1932, you could put a Rolex on your wrist and wear it for 2 years and not even think about it. Now, of course, you probably would think about it because after 2 years, it'd be a little off, but not that off. I mean, you know, when you're talking train times off. But, you know, if you were, say, you know, a farmer and just needed a rough idea of the time just to sort of plan your day, you know, you didn't need to catch a train or anything. You could pop that Rolex on and you could wear it for 2 years and you'd be okay. Let's see, what would, okay, 5 seconds a day fast after 2 years. All right. I'm gonna have to get a calculator, but okay, you might want to take it off. But you know, in that day and time, as I've mentioned in another video, you know, you didn't have the luxury of going to time.is and tweaking your Rolex. So, you know, you'd probably set it when you went into town by, you know, the bank's clock, or you know, when I was a kid, there was a number you could call on the phone and they would tell you the time. I don't think they did it to the second, but it was enough to set a clock. And maybe once phones got going, that's how people did it. But yeah, those two innovations just really I mean, we take it for granted these days. I mean, a waterproof watch is nothing, and a watch that just keeps on going without needing winding, thanks to a battery or the perpetual movement in it, is something we take for granted. But you know, if you think about what it allows you to do and what it did allow you to do, it's really impressive, and it's worth sort of stepping back and looking down at your Oyster Perpetual and thanking Rolex for that. And it's interesting, Oyster Perpetual date. That's why they always have that on there. I mean, there's basically Rolex saying this is our waterproofness, and this is our perpetual movement that you're wearing. And that's why every Oyster, every Rolex, well, not everyone, not the Cellinis, but most every Rolex has that Oyster Perpetual on there. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting, and an interesting factual bit of knowledge that I derived from that recall. Check out that site. I've just started reading into it, and is it going to make you want a 1675? Yeah, probably. But I'm a bit weary of those older watches. Ticking time bombs, perhaps. Look, if you got the money for them, awesome. But prefer to go a little bit newer. But absolute beautiful watches and some cool photos on that site. Again, check it out if you want to. I'm not, getting paid to promote it. I just dig it. Anyway, take care, and see you next time.